A lot of the episodes thus far have mentioned how the film and characters stand out from their contemporaries. And that's why I'm not here talking about Hell Comes to Frogtown. But paradoxically, you can't get the timelessness of Die Hard without also appreciating the 1980s. References to larger cultural trends underpin so much of this film, and with a delicacy not generally seen alongside so much C4. The 1980s were kind of the first time that America was great again. In the 1970s, we lost a war, there was economic downturn, the president told us to wear sweaters. People wanted to move on, even if it meant turning our backs on some really good movies. 80s Hollywood tried to salve the national disgrace of Vietnam with ubermensch heroes, both foreign and domestic, while reform and monetary policy turned the economy around, as long as you owned some stock and a bachelor's degree, not historically prerequisites for American success. In Die Hard, an oral history, McTiernan says very directly that McClane rides in the front of the limo because he's an FDR-type hero, a common man. And as such, McClane is commentary on this relatively nascent divide in access to the American dream. He pretty obviously does not blend in at the party, which in part commemorates
one of the greatest years in the history of the Nakatomi Corporation.
Let's compare McClane to, say, Ellis, who is one of the first to question his heroics.
Bullshit. This job's 3,000 miles away.
From negotiation on down, Ellis has no recognizable skills. He interferes with his coworkers, snorts coke off their desks, and seems not particularly embarrassed about his boss walking in on him while he does it. And yet, he seems to be doing well for himself. Holly has also risen at Nakatomi, but she's earned it, and that kinda strikes a nerve too. McClane, like a sharply increasing number of men in the 1980s, is struggling to figure out what he brings to the table if his wife's career has outstripped his own in terms of both income and prestige, seemingly without impeding her ability to keep it together on the home front. Even in the improbable scenario that lets McClane demonstrate some real value to this new paradigm of the 1980s, he's hounded by societal forces that refuse to acknowledge the potential for this apparent nobody to orchestrate heroics.
Could be a fucking bartender for all we know.
And a decade earlier, Bruce Willis literally was. And then there are the Japanese. As Takagi quips,
Pearl Harbor didn't work out, so we got you with tape decks.
While Rust Belt communities had been smashing Toyotas for years, Japanese corporations buying up US landmarks was the trend of Die Hard's moment. But while many of its contemporaries take any opportunity to revel in the villainy of the other, the film keeps its commentary fair and subtle, with production designer Jackson DeGovia modeling the 30th floor atrium after Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, suggesting that the Nakatomi Corp had bought it and reassembled it there, in his words, as a trophy. Wright's work makes another appearance a few moments later with the model of his unbuilt Butterfly Bridge for San Francisco Bay, just one in a collection of artworks and scale replicas representing the Nakatomi Corporation's assets. Takagi's unwillingness to cooperate is as heroic as his death is gruesome, but one can't help but wonder if flanking it with great art and landmarks reduced to so many executive trinkets was meant to soften its executioner's action in the eyes of an American audience for whom such acquisitions would be a very recent memory. I'm Cosmo Catalano. Until next time, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.